truth, most of the time it hurts to hear truth. Only lies and illusions are sweet and, comforting. But when you say the truth, it's the fire.
One of my friends told me how the truth can hurt. They said, Jerome, the truth is not always sunshine and rainbows and roses, and the truth can hurt sometimes. And we don't often know how harsh the truth can be. We don't often realize what can happen, how it can affect our mind, how it can affect someone else when we speak the truth, when someone hears the truth, and when someone knows the truth, even in that moment that they are not willing to accept the truth. Would they regret the truth? So there was a time in my life when I was in a long relationship with one of my previous partners. We were together for 10 years. And, a whole decade is quite some time to be with somebody, to learn about somebody, or so you think. You would think that you would know a person. You would think that you would really grow to understand and know the ins and outs of a partner that you had been with for that amount of time. But during this 10 years, we had so many arguments, so many debacles, debates, and, disputes, right? so many times of frustration. And we didn't understand how to come to a conclusion. We didn't know how to break away. We didn't know how to end it. But we wanted it to be over. Secretly, we wanted it to be over, but we also didn't want to give up. Whether we didn't want to give up on ourselves for making the decision to be with each other, or we didn't want to give up on each other. But I remember the only way that I could get out my frustrations, the only way that I could have that internal conversation, because I hadn't yet discovered meditation, was through journaling. So I would write these things down in my journal, these internal things that messed with my mind, the frustration, the constipation of just anger and stress and worry and anxiety, and just, why are these things like this? And it was like extracting poison. If a snake bites you got to get that poison out somehow. So it felt like venom was in my heart. It felt like poison was in my heart. And the only way I could extract it was to allow this poison to run through my arm, through my hand, through my fingertips, to the pen, to the paper, to the page. That was the only way to get out all this rage, right? And after writing pages and pages and pages of this, extracting poison in all these pages, I felt better, I felt good. It was like, okay, I can get this off my chest, so to speak, right? Okay, I can finally rest, so to speak. I was able to have someone to talk to. Even if there was no one really listening, I could listen to myself. And I had to do it for my own mental health. Then one day, I came upon my journal, and I opened my journal. I was about to write in my journal, and I noticed something different about my journal. There had been 3 pages ripped out of my journal. 3 pages. I'll never forget this. I don't even know what I wrote. But somehow, tucked away in this little file, in this little binder, in this little cupboard, in this little drawer, in this little journal, 3 pages had been ripped out of this journal. And I could tell with the ridges and the edges of the lines of the way that it was ripped out, I could tell that it was forcefully ripped. It wasn't, carefully edged and carefully torn out. No, it was torn out. And I thought to myself, there's only one way. There's only one person. And she's sleeping right next to me. She's the only one who could have torn these pages out of this journal. I didn't tear them out. And to this day, I don't know where they went. She never told me about it. She never admitted to me about it. She never said anything about it. She might have burned them. She might have trashed them. She might have shred them. Who knows? She might have kept them. Who knows? But one thing I do know. This one thing I do know is that from that point on, when I saw those pages were ripped out of my journal, something changed within my partner. She was no longer the same. She wasn't the same person that I proposed to. She wasn't the same person that I married. She wasn't the same person. She changed. And maybe it was her reading something that told her the same. That said, who is this person that I am sleeping with? Who is this person that I am laying with? Who is this person that I've pledged my life to in this reality? Whatever she read on that page, whatever she read, whatever was said with the thoughts that came out of my head, she never forgave me. And it felt like a betrayal for me because your innermost thoughts are now out in the open. Someone knows. And not only someone, but the closest someone. They know. They know how you feel. They know what is going on inside. It felt like a betrayal, but for her, it probably also felt like a betrayal because I didn't tell her any of those things. I just wrote them down. They weren't for anyone else. They were just for me. And for her to read it probably felt like one of the most painful things you can experience from someone that you love deeply. I never found those journal entries. I never found those pages. They're gone. But here's one thing I did. From that day, I learned how to write in shorthand. I taught myself. And so now no one can actually read my journals. No one knows what they say. No one knows how to read my writing today. And I used to joke to people who would look over at my notes and be like, what is that? Like hieroglyphics? What, Jerome, what is that? What are you doing? What are you writing? Is that another language? What is that? And be like, no, it's English. It's just shorthand, And I would joke and say that I developed it because I wanted to stay awake in class during the lectures and the teachers, and it was a way to engage my mind with it, which is half true. But the real truth, why I started writing in shorthand is those 3 pages. Those 3 pages that I'll never get back. Those 3 pages that I can never extract. I can never reclaim that energy. Once it's out, it's out. Once it's gone, it's gone. Whether it was right or whether it was wrong, I'll never know. But realize that your words have power. Realize the truth, and your words can hurt. But what would you do if you knew that your words could affect someone else in such a profound way? Would you hold them inside, or would you let them go? Some things in life we may never know. So much love, my friend, and much love once again. Namaste. And I trust that you'll have a beautiful day. Just be careful the things that you say. But understand, sometimes it's just that way, right? Blessings to you, and take care.